What's up, guys? This is JTQ9 of Ssx1, and welcome back to the channel. Season 45, war number 3 against Pycb. Got a fun war for you guys this time. I've got 6 fights. We'll go through, I got some Chavez, I've got some Kitty Pryde, I've got a Spider Ham, I've got the Black Widow, I've got a Bishop and a Gore. Fall fights, I've done a couple of the fights before, but some new ones. But either way, that's kind of what the map's looking like as we start into it. And we're going to start this first fight off with our good friend, Mr. Sandman, being Tactic. Did I make the same mistake as last war too, where I did not throw a heavy right away? I feel like I make the same mistake again. Yeah, there's the Unstoppable. So fortunately, she only hit me with a 2-hit combo, and at that point I was like, alright, I have to throw a heavy to get the slow up. And then, I don't know why I constantly forget that. It's very frustrating. I need to work on remembering that. Anyway, fortunately, it didn't kind of affect anything in this particular fight. But once I got going, we get into the Sandman rotation. And those are some nice heavies. Some big red damage. Getting the Petrifies up, so any healing she was having from willpower and stuff, she would be healing. They would be reversed. And just like that, the fight is basically over. So I was pretty happy with that one there, because Chavez can be a pain at times, especially with MD. At least the Petrify kind of like prevents the power gain coming in from so much. And yeah, so this one here, going into it, Kitty Pryde, I was not overly concerned. And when I was talking with the officers, they seemed to be a little nervous for some reason, just with the power gain that was going to be happening. But I felt to be very much in control. I knew that I just needed to build to my SP2, and chances are the fight would be over really quickly. Fortunately, I was right. 25 seconds later, the fight was over. Very easy fight. Next time, I will not use an Invul boost, as we're in War 3, and I think I'm all out of Invul boosts from moving forward. So, should make for an interesting next couple of wars coming up. But we'll see what happens. So I was feeling pretty good. It was really early on in the war. The assignments got out relatively quickly and was able to get into it fast. And knowing how none of my lanes were kind of held up by anything, I just wanted to get it all done so I can move on to other content. But the only risk with this particular fight here is that Spider-Ham will be unblockable for most of the fight, as he's constantly kind of throwing the specials. But I don't have to worry about the evade, because Venom prevents him basically from evading. So the idea was anytime I would get the SP1 available for me, I would throw it. And then after that, try to manage his power, where I was constantly baiting his SP1. So I wasn't overly concerned with this fight after doing a bunch of duels. And he's going down pretty easy right now. So haven't used Venom in a while. There's one season, I want to say it was maybe about, gosh, what was it? Maybe 5, 6, 7 seasons ago? I don't even remember anymore. Where I was using Venom a lot on, this was, I believe it was probably more than that, because I don't think Hulkling existed. Otherwise, he would have been the champ of choice when it was on against that Warlock on, what was it, Path 8? Where if he power drained you, he was degenning you and everything. Anyway, I digress. So here, this next one, we have the Black Widow Clairvoyant, similar to the fight I took last week, where you do not want to push her to 2 bars of power, and because she will be unblockable the entire time. So with this one here, I remembered and started off with the heavy to get the slow up. The idea is to build to well, I would say my SP1s just to get the Petrifies up, so any healing that does happen is reversed. Always nice doing extra damage over time when you're just sitting back and watching kind of the red ticks fly off her. So anyways, I did get myself in a good routine this time, where I got 4 heavies off in that cycle, did a lot of damage. And now, same thing, I'm going to build back up to my unstable at 20, and then follow into another set of heavy cycles, and that should finish her off from memory. But Wanted to make sure that, again, I didn't push to the SP2, so this fight was in better control. So there's the 1 heavy, there's the 2 heavy, there's the 3 heavy, and she's dead. So I had room for another one as well, but the amount of damage just from the debuffs and everything like that made that fight relatively easy. So this bishop here, this next one, I've taken a bunch of times in the last season. One of the things you have to keep an eye on, well, A, is that when his timer's off, he immediately eats the shock, which immediately eats the shot. He immediately eats my armor up because the next buff triggered gives him a bar of power, or 3/4 of a bar of power, whatever it is. So at the beginning of the fight there, what I was doing is as my armor was down, I didn't want to push him to an SP1 in case he threw it and then all of a sudden Incinerate happened or anything like that. So I was dexing, I was backing out, and then I triggered dex when his timer was up, so then the next buff that came up, that was my armor up, wouldn't be eaten. But as you can see, the fight went really, really quick. After that point, I did some pretty significant damage and didn't even have a chance to walk through that fight as it was over that quickly. So Bishop, Idum there is a very, very good counter for that Bishop. You just need to pay attention. So this fight here I took in the last war, so I was a little bit more familiar with it. Did not have any invul boost left, and decided for whatever reason that I didn't know how his heavy worked. So I was baiting the heavy and constantly taking hits. So I'm 30 seconds into it, I've done no damage, I'm down to 40% health, but at least now I've got him right where I want him, in a position of vulnerability where he'll just be spamming his SP1s. So when he's spamming the SP1s, I'm gonna have to do arguably 2 or 3 hit combos, well, sorry, 3 to 5 hit combos and then bait his SP1 to get it out of the way. I could have blocked his SP2, but honestly, the chip damage, I didn't want to take a chance. So for me, I got very comfortable with the previous war and saw how well it worked in terms of burning down his health by just adding Petrifies to him. So it's just 5 hit combo, 4 or 5 hit combo, throw the SP1, get the Petrifies up, and then that way his power gain wouldn't be as strong. The more I have up, the more damage it's going to do, especially with his protection down. And the only way to get the protection down is by knocking him down. So I probably could have added in a heavy chain at some point, but honestly, I just didn't trust it. This gore is just sometimes a pain, and I just didn't want to. Yeah, he was just a pain, and I was just nervous. So after taking, the fights in the last war, I elected to just take it easy, because you could see there's a lot of damage taking off there. That's 640 times 4, 5, 6 per second. That's a lot of damage that was being dealt. So overall, very, very happy with the way that fight went. We ended up taking this war 9-3, which was nice after the loss. So after week 1, we are 2-1 on the season. I had a good 6 fight showing this war, 5 for the previous. So I'm up to 15 kills for this season, which is on pace for more fights than I've taken in previous seasons. But you know what? I will take it. I love the extra fights, and still 15 kills and 0 deaths on the season. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.